Welcome to History Legends, and in this video we'll do a step-by-step analysis of the Battle of the Bloody Gulch that followed the capture of Carentan as depicted in Band of Brothers. This is episode 3 of the series. Make sure to watch part 1 and part 2. Here in episode 3, the Germans want to reconquer Carentan at all cost, since it links up Utah and Omaha Beach. This is the last major battle in Normandy for Easy Company in the series. And let's see how it holds up to actual events, from a historical accuracy standpoint and realism. And that's what you'll discover today. If you're new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're interested in real World War II first-hand accounts, check out my Veterans book, link in the bio. And as you all know, I've been working really hard on these historical reactions to war movies, so make sure to join my Patreon to keep the show running. Right off the bat, there's something we can notice. That morning, around 5-6 a.m., the men from Easy Company were just not sitting around and chatting, they were in attack formation. And we can't see that in the show. In this part, Band of Brothers just ignores the reality on the ground. American paratroopers of the 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment were the ones preparing an assault on the Germans to increase the defense perimeter around Carentan. By the entire night, the Germans were sending patrols, so the Americans were on high alert. Needless to say, few of the men from Easy Company slept well that night. And what makes me mad is that we can't feel that they've been fighting for a week now. They're completely exhausted and they're still on the front line. Okay, at least they're on the ground, that's good. Okay, radios, very good. That's good. What's good here is at least we can feel that they've been surprised and that they didn't expect a German attack. Mortars, 60mm. So I don't know how many are there. I think there's 2, maybe 3. So that's good. I'm very happy to finally see the mortars from Easy Company. And what I like is we can notice 3 mortars firing, which matches the fact that there was one 60mm mortar per platoon. So in a company, you have 3 platoons, 3 mortars. The only thing is that firing mortars at this moment of the battle doesn't make sense. It's a literal waste of ammo. Lieutenant Welsh literally said, "No enemy infantry attacking." What are the mortars firing at? They don't even know where the enemy is located. And at the back here, we can even notice Battalion HQ, but it should be at least half a kilometer back from the main firing line. Okay, so these guys should be scouts, I guess. But so now they're in the firing line of the Americans. It's problematic. Find your target. What I like in this scene is that we see that Lieutenant Winters is a capable commander. Even though these men are elite, with years of training, he actually moved along the firing line, repeating simple orders like reload, take aim, and he kept repeating this over and over. Check this out. You don't actually see the Germans. You just know that they're there. They're firing in the general direction of enemy fire. And this is what I really like in this scene. You see, most firefights during World War II took place at a range of about 200 meters. 200 meters is pretty far and you generally can't really see enemy soldiers. Typically, they would just fire at the general direction of where they think the enemy is. Now, the particular aspect of fighting in Normandy was hedgerows, basically barriers of trees in between crops, an environment extremely suitable for ambushes. This is Band of Brothers' interpretation of the hedgerows of Normandy, and it's not accurate at all. You only see a tree line and foxholes, so let's discover how the battlefield actually looked like. In all honesty, historians still debate the exact location of the Battle of Bloody Gulch. Some people say it took place on this line, others think it took place on this line. However, multiple clues support the second line theory. A week after the battle, recon aircraft took the following pictures near Carentan. We can clearly see a battlefield with trucks and mortar craters all over the place. And they were all along this line. Easy Dog and Fox Company held their 1 kilometer front north of this road. Easy Company was positioned on the rightmost edge, near the train tracks, which we don't see in the episode at all. So let's take a look at the battlefield. If we zoom in to where the fighting took place, you can see the hedgerows that the Screaming Eagles were defending. They called this place the Bloody Gulch for a reason. A gulch is like a ravine. And in Normandy, these came in the shape of naturally built trenches with a slope and trees on either side. That means that soldiers were naturally protected by the hedgerows. We can also notice how flat the entire landscape is, as opposed to Band of Brothers, where we can see a significant slope. So we should see a hedgerow. The soldiers are not on a flat landscape, they should be protected. Winters. That's good. Yes. Okay, this is, I think, one of the best parts of this battle. Lieutenant Winters knows that if Easy Company fires everything they have in a short amount of time, the Germans will prefer to deviate away from the sector and attack somewhere else. And this is exactly what happened. Oh! German tanks! Oh shit, there's a lot of them. That's it. They're screwed. No, that's the real deal. They're shocked for a reason. During the Battle of Bloody Gulch, American paratroopers faced both German paratroopers and elements of the 17th SS Panzer Division. So at this point, they know they're screwed. Paratroopers on their own don't have the equipment to hold off a proper armored assault. Oh, beautiful! I'm so happy they added the scene. Okay guys, I'm so happy. What we just saw was Dog and Fox Company running away from the battlefield. It's very historically accurate, I love it. Easy Company held its ground, but that's not the case for the rest of the battalion. Under the intense incoming fire, F Company on Easy's left flank broke and fell back. This was not a controlled retreat, but a full-on rout. And the commanding officer of the company was relieved on the spot. F Company's rout now exposed D Company, so they fell back as well. That left Easy all alone, isolated, with its left flank out in the open. And this part really shows the capabilities of Lieutenant Winters in combat. He's leading by example. What's crazy here is that Winters, I'm not sure if he actually exposed himself to fire like that, but knowing Winters, he probably did. Okay, now firing mortars makes sense, because they know where the Germans are. We don't see it on screen, but Winters ordered his mortars to open fire when some Germans tried to outflank Easy Company on the right, beyond the railroad track through the swamps. And that mortar strike stopped that attempt right in its tracks. Now that's the problem I have with the scene, is that the Germans are launching a full frontal assault on Easy Company, when clearly they couldn't break through because of the intense fire from Easy Company, so they attacked on the flanks. And that we don't see at all. Oh my god. Oh, in the open field. Okay, here we have some solid misinterpretation of what actually happened. So it's true that there was a German tank or some armored vehicle, we don't know exactly what type, which did become an imminent threat to Easy Company. And Lieutenant Welsh and Private McGarth did in fact bring a bazooka to stop it. Historically speaking, up to that point, it's good. But, big but, Not like that. For me, Welsh is super badass, but no way did he run in open field like that in the middle of a firefight. The confusion comes from the fact that it was said Welsh and McGarth ran in open field, but that's all the information we have. Now here's what I believe happened. It is said that the German tank started to break through the hedgerow on Easy's left flank, exactly where F Company should have been. I think Welsh and McGrath ran in open field at the back of the company, covered by the hedgerows, and then positioned themselves in front of the German tank that was stuck. It was stuck trying to push through the hedgerows, which made its belly point up. Okay, these words were 100% legit. I have no idea how close to the German tank they actually were, but I can bet this was some scary moment for that private. He said that. These words, 100%. Okay, check this out. The belly will be visible. I hope. Oh, okay, no. We know for a fact that the cannon of the tank could not depress down sufficiently, because as you know, the tank was climbing up a hedgerow. So in reality, the shell zoomed above their head, missing by a few feet. So I don't really understand how it destroys everything on the ground. Oh, okay. Okay, they combined two events together. Okay, now I get it. The machine gunner was actually hit by a mortar round, but they put these two events together to accelerate the story. Okay, the belly, you see? That's legit, it 100% happened. Lieutenant Welsh is pretty badass. He saved Easy Company at Carentan and now once again at the Bloody Gulch. That one man saved the entire regiment because that was a critical moment of the battle. What we can see in the show is that multiple German tanks were lined up behind the tank that Welsh destroyed. With the front tank hit, all the German tanks behind had to put their gear in reverse and back off. Now the reason why they were all back to back and very vulnerable like that is because they expected the first tank to cut through the hedgerows, and they would cross the hedgerow from that same breach. Oh, what the hell is this? Okay, none of these guys are actually protected by anything. If we look at pictures of the Battle of Normandy, we see these hedgerows, and they're deep. So I really don't think that they actually fought position like that. It looks good on cam though, but not realistic. What? No! What is this? Oh my god, I'm gonna go on the red. Why do they have to show the Germans with the dumbest tactics ever? It's literally like a Call of Duty map at this point. They're trapped in that little square. The Germans can't just outflank Easy Company. And to make things worse, these German NPCs are not even going prone on the ground. They're literally fully exposed, out in the open. Okay, now that the rant is out of the way, the positive thing is that we can actually see some German paratroopers and German Panzer Grenadiers, which is historically accurate. However, we can see in the show that you have regular Panzer Grenadiers when in fact it was SS Panzer Grenadiers, which have a different uniform. Okay, the real story was Malarkey that was sent to get more machine gun ammo. He ran through hundreds of yards of pasture and even got wounded in the process by a mortar shell. Once he got the ammo and mortar shells were flying left and right, he did say that he was praying most of the way back to the hedgerows. For me, this little detail is very important because we barely see their religious side in Band of Brothers. Oh shit. Okay, it's rare to see a wounded soldier in battle. Oh, he's shot too. What we don't really see in the episode is that American lines were really on the brink of collapse. One German tank company had reached the outskirts of Carentan and they were about to recapture the city, to the point where the Americans were considering to abandon the city of Carentan altogether. Again, you have to remember, the battle lasted for hours. I just wish that in this episode we felt that Easy Company was in great danger. In actual events, as time passed, they were giving up ground fast, going from one hedgerow to another, trying to avoid enemy flanking maneuvers. This is another thing we don't really see in the battle as portrayed in Band of Brothers, is that the fighting is very from the front, but I believe it was more diagonal, because the Germans were trying to flank Easy Company, so a lot of the fighting happened on both left and right flank. Survivors of Easy Company said how the Germans were relentless, how the Americans were close to being overrun. So the previous day when they captured Carentan, they suffered about 8 to 10 wounded. And now during this battle, they suffered another 9 wounded. 1 or 2 additional days like that, and Easy Company would cease to exist as a unit. They were tired, they were losing guys, and hope.
Well, hello, second armored.
The cavalry. So I think they were pretty happy in actual events too. So this part is, I think, the furthest from historical accuracy and realism, because we see the American tanks coming from their left flank, but that never happened. At 4:30 p.m., 60 tanks from the 2nd Armored, supported by fresh infantry from the 29th Division, came up to relieve Easy Company. But the Shermans actually appeared at the back of Easy Company and pushed forward from there. Winters recalled what a wonderful sight it was to see those tanks pouring it to the Germans with those heavy 50 cal machine guns and just plowing straight from our lines into the German hedgerows with all those fresh infantry soldiers marching along beside the tanks. But what bothers me is that really they make it seem as if this battle was in this little box when in fact it was much more important. So we do get this here. You see, what? Where was he shot from? Anyway. So we see another fantasy from Spielberg. Again, shooting down retreating Germans is a common theme in the show. It's always happening. The battle ends with Germans retreating and being massacred in the back. But from the 3 battles we analyzed, I think this is the one I like the least. To me, the main points is that the battlefield does not look the same. We don't even have that gulch and these important hedgerows that were the most significant aspect of this battle. Then the German attack doesn't make any sense, and the arrival of these Shermans is also poorly portrayed. Sadly, this battle scene doesn't reflect what Easy Company actually went through and how important their role was in defending Carentan. So yeah, that's all I have for you. Let me know what you think. If you like this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. And next episode, we'll fly over to the Netherlands.